So talking about innovation, what trends are you watching at the moment?
So I really look at broader technology trends and talk to folks, technologists in more traditional software, looking at how AI is being used in those worlds. And I think we have some challenges. I'm watching to see, okay, what are the things we can take, and then what is the infrastructure we need to enable those things that we can potentially take from other industries, but maybe we're not quite ready yet. That's one of the reasons why I was excited about the data standardization stuff. That's really the guardrails we need in order to ensure safe deployment of these AI and non-deterministic systems in the built environment.
Pretty hard to avoid AI in this conference. It's the headline on every one of the signs. We've got some really smart people who are making sure they keep an eye on all this, but also staying grounded in what's real for buildings. Many of the buildings we go see are not ready for AI. Their data quality is garbage. Their connectivity isn't great, or it's expensive. So we're trying to help kind of raise the bar on a lot of these properties so that they can do those higher and greater functions. They can reduce some of their operational costs. We're trying to make sure we ground ourselves in what's real and understand where the hype is going. So we brought some really smart people, and we get to investigate that. Kind of hard to avoid that as a topic today.
The movement on the independent data layer is really taking hold. And so what MAPT is we're an independent data layer, and unifying data from your building systems and then enabling the maintenance and operations and efficiency of those categories is a huge movement that we're seeing amongst property owners.
You cannot have an answer that doesn't include AI. And I will tell you, it is not just the technology cliche. In our business, it is going to deal with some things we have had a hard time dealing with. One of them is we've always talked about getting the data, and for what purpose. And now with AI and large language models, there's an easy answer to that. You can get a lot of information out of even unstructured data. So that's really fantastic. The other thing I think is we've all heard about agentic AI, and that is where you've got these concentrations of functions in AI that are going to very specifically deal with and replace traditional old legacy tech stacks, which I think is also going to create a lot of convenience.
Well, it feels like the right answer has to be AI. We're being very careful to make sure that it's not just a hype machine, right? I mean, everybody talks about AI like it's a be-all, the end-all. We're using it smartly in our product. We're using it as part of our onboarding process. We're using it as some of the analysis as well. But we're also sensitive to the fact that certain customers really don't want you using it. We're being cautious about it, and we're using it where we think it can really add value, but we're avoiding the whole hype cycle.
We're thinking about AI, right? We're the AI platform that runs the enterprise at ServiceNow, and we're doing a lot today with AI, which is really exciting. I think that one of the biggest insights that we have, some 80% of the AI projects fail when the data is not present. As organizations are starting to try and actually apply AI to their use cases, there's this challenge of in order to get value out of AI, you're going to need to figure out how to manage all that data. The trend here, I think a lot of people are thinking about AI. I think what needs to be happening is you need to be thinking about it's not just the LLM, it's not just the model, it's also how do you bring the rich contextual data from your enterprise into the AI algorithm.
Yes, I'm really watching to see how quickly AI, machine learning, LLMs are being adopted into the platforms that we use. We're delivering platforms all the time for our clients. Things are supposed to get easier, and I expect that they will continue to get easier. Pretty excited to see that LLMs are already making their way into these platforms. I wouldn't say we're using them commercially yet, but I would say by the end of maybe this quarter, maybe next, we will be, which is pretty exciting.
The big ones for me, probably over the past 2 years, have been related to democratizing data out of these systems. Finally shifting from a place of proprietary, quasi-open ways that a BMS device would hold on to its information. I need to be able to pull that out and put it alongside every other data set that goes into our operation. So I need to be able to tell temperature and humidity and people counting, all those kinds of data points, alongside all the metadata about a building. More and more providers are making it easier to join what these other technologies have done over the past few years. Here's a true API.
Yeah.
You can go query it all you want and manipulate, put that data next to where you want it. So we have a lot of internal reporting and dashboards so the ability to be able to put this kind of information alongside that, super compelling.
I'm definitely interested to learn more in terms of how the industry is going to standardize around cybersecurity. Also, how all these different data ontologies are going to come together into a standard unified ontology that can be absorbed by the industry.
The trend we follow closely is sort of the IT-ification of buildings. I think that that's got a lot of legs and is basically inevitable. You're moving from a world of mechanical devices and very low-level programs into a world that's, highly scalable, highly automated, highly orchestrated. automated. We see that both as a real benefit for owners because it makes technology more accessible, more secure, but also for vendors like us because it makes it much easier to deploy, new innovations when you actually have a framework that can support that and you're not recreating everything you need to support some use case on every project. We continue to follow that closely.
Building infrastructure technology, we're kind of the train tracks, collecting all the data, doing the dirty work. So it's interesting to see a lot of the new platforms coming out there that are taking our data and what they can do for different use cases in the building. And also seeing some of the existing players, like the team at Code Labs, who we're fortunate to do a lot of work with, all the advancements they've made. I don't see it every day. It's great to see it in person, touch it, and really get your hands on it.
So I think on that same thought process, there's partnerships, and that is really the way that we deliver true solutions to end users. You can't do it all yourself. And so we have to figure out how to solution each individual ecosystem, each building, and that's really kind of where it gets exciting.